Hey guys, Wheatywaffle here today, and we are back in City Skylines 2, playing our city of Second City. I'm having so many of these little buildings. Oh no, this is just a full sign. Right when I logged in, I had so many buildings that were saying they had no road access, even though they've never had a problem before. I am curious what we should do with Denny Ridge, because it's full, and unlike the old game, you're not able to empty, which, I mean, I guess it makes sense. You can't empty it. The bodies are buried here. But do we keep it? Do we maybe move it? What are some of these options here? +2 well-being, an additional 1,000 capacity. I mean, we could give like a little expansion here to this guy. What is this? Attractiveness 20. We'll add a small little expansion just right over here. Apparently it's going to knock down that building. We're just going to anarchy it in. But let's just place this, bam, right there. Now this can hold another 1,000 people, which is great. And we'll just get a few more bodies in there. All right, so one thing before we go anywhere this morning, I got to figure out this connection right here. Technically, you can turn to the left here, but it really doesn't. That's an aggressive turn. I think what we're going to do, and this was a recommendation by Andrew, I think we're just going to add in a roundabout right here. Similar to what we've done over here, we have this larger roundabout. Oh, autosave. Oh, and I still have anarchy on. Oh my goodness. Let's, these are mediums. Do we want to do a large, or is a large? No, a large is perfect. Let's do a roundabout like this here. And then what we're actually going to do is we're going to turn off some of these crosswalks and just clean up this intersection. So I think we're going to turn both of these off, actually. You know what? We're going to build a pedestrian bridge here. Let's just take a moment and make some edits. Let's get rid of all of these crosswalks. Really unnecessary. We don't really need them. Let's then also go ahead and upgrade some of these into 2 lanes. Now, what I don't want is the whole thing to become a 2-lane unless it does this, because this middle lane here ends up splitting into 2. I'm fine with that. All right, so we'll do a 2-lane there. This can stay 1 lane the whole way through. This here needs to be a 2-lane as well. And as long as that middle lane is shared, that's fine. And then I am going to use move it, because this little tiny node here I think is a bit ridiculous. Actually, what I'm going to do instead is just completely delete this and rebuild it. Let's grab a 4x4, go straight on in, and I'm going to go ahead and add key walls to both sides. It does re-add. Oops, it re-adds my crosswalks, but I don't want. Get rid of, get rid of, get rid of. Perfect. That looks much better. And I think I want to do the same right here. I just want to get rid of this connection entirely. It's all right underneath. And then let's go ahead and add back in this road. I do realize I now have to go back through and undo what I did with the crosswalks. That's okay. All right, get rid of this. Remove, remove, remove. I also do, I guess we do need a light here. What I'm tempted to say is that if you're on this road, you can't turn to the right, to the left. You have to go to the right here. That way you come down here, you can use the roundabout to turn all the way around. That's fine. It makes me wonder, like, does it make sense then to have this be upgraded to a 2-lane? Probably not. Yeah, okay, you know what? We're gonna undo that. That was an oopsie. We don't actually need this to be anything more than just a 1-lane road. Come out this way. Yep, that's perfect. Same thing here. This is gonna be a 1-lane road. Come out this way, and then you can't turn to the left. You have to go to the right, which means that when you come out, you can go around here. I then think that means I can probably get rid of both of these stoplights. They're just going to have to merge up and in, but that's fine. Or we could asymmetrical this like so. Now there's a dedicated turn lane for the people coming off the highway. Similarly over here, dedicated turn lane for people coming off the highway. Might be a bit overkill considering nobody lives over here yet, but I think that's going to work out pretty nice. And I am going to, for the time being, I think I'm just going to connect these two together. Hold on. Let's just do this. It's ridiculous, but at least it might let people actually use this road, because now they can come down and turn around and get off this way. And I think that's good. All right. Palmer Springs. Did we ever set up a train station here? We didn't. Or a train line? We didn't. We have this train line, let's go ahead and just like get some public transit in order here. So subway train, passenger rail tool. This is the Boulder Hill line. And we're actually going to take this final stop and move that over here. Add in 2 stops back here. Bam and bam. Perfect. I do have to say that like the interchange here around Doors Park with all of these bus lines is perfect. And I'm curious if we should maybe consider adding a new bus line that's going to interact there. I think we actually might. That could be a great idea. All right, so now we have the Boulder Hill line. It's expanded a bit. It comes all the way over here into Palmer Springs. Is this named Palmer Springs train station? It is not. Palmer Springs Station. Great. Palmer Springs, SPO Meadow, Hodges Sports Complex. Let's actually, I'm going to jump around a bit because there's just a bunch of small stuff that I feel like we need to take care of. Here, see, look, again, another building that for some reason has no car or person access. I'm just finding it to be easier just to delete them. I'm giving up with like the using the move it. Nope, we're just going to delete it. All right, this is going to come out to here. This can then actually just use the highway kind of as its guide. Okay, hold on. There we go. Bam. All right, Hodges Sports Complex now includes a dairy house, which doesn't make a lot of sense, probably not, but I'm not worried about it. Let's also go ahead and make this a key wall, only so that there is protection from the train. Or I guess we could put the key wall on the train line. We wouldn't even need anarchy to do that. Let's do that instead. We'll put the key wall on the train line up to there. That way there's no way for you to run off the road and get on the train. And we'll do the same on this side, just so that anybody living over here in SBO Meadow can't get on the train. We probably need more sports fields somewhere. So we got to figure out how to incorporate that into this area. All right, so we've got the train set up. That's great. Let's also look at this subway. Let me just click on like regular subway. Ooh, actually, you know what? Modern subway station. Is this large or is this pretty small? No, this is pretty small. Kind of just tucks into the wall there. We have a subway right here. What is this line? The orange line. So the orange line comes over here, stops over here in Ortega, moves its way down into Alexandria, stops here, moves down here into Wilmar, continues down over here into Longview, continues down over here into Middle Peak. We've got to stop in Briar Downs. We've got to stop here in Pinewood Acres. And it basically ends here in Pinewood Acres. Okay, so that's kind of moving right up the center of the city over to here. I could see us extending it one more section over here. Maybe taking it from here, wrapping it around, and having a stop over here. Because then once all this is filled in, that could work nicely. Or do we introduce a different line that comes over and connects in this way? Because we have another line going here. That's a useful line. You know what? We could take this green line. What is this line? This is the L. What if the L came up through here and connected over this way? And that came through now. Oh, okay, hold on. That's what we're going to do. Let's use we have the underground subway station, which is just like a little 2x3, it looks like. Then we have this one, which is a 2x5. But I like just the way this looks from above. So let's go ahead and place this guy here. It's also cheaper, which I'm not going to complain about. But I like how this looks from above. And we can come in here and add on an extra platform. I don't necessarily think we need that, but if we do, we can do it later. And we can add an entrance roof. So let's go ahead and add an entrance roof. That's perfect. Yep. I like it. Looks like it's got a little park in the back. Perfect. All right, let's get this all connected up. We want to get our double stack subway lines. We want to connect right up into here. We're going down far too many meters. Hold on. Bring this down like this and just keep it underground like that. There we go. All right, so let's go ahead and curve this from here. We're basically basically going to follow this road. And I think, frankly, just go underneath this road. Can we figure out a way to get from here to here? We can. It's going straight, so that's all right that it's going pretty far down. And then right here is another subway line. So I think what we want to do is we want to connect. This is a busy line. Hold on, before we go further, let me just click on this line real quick. I think we might need to make a quick change here. So we have two lines going here. We have the orange line that stops here, and we have the L that also stops here. And the L is going to go through. I think if we were to pause, I think we get rid of both of these stops. Get rid of the L, get rid of the orange line. Okay. Now this is not doing anything. Let's go ahead and just completely delete this subway line. And instead, let's switch it for the metro, the modern metro station. Oh, it's going to demolish that house. I don't want it to demolish that. It's going to demolish that too. I think we have to do it. We have to do it. It needs to go all the way back there. That's fine. But now we have this and we can tack on the second subway line. Okay, okay, hold on. This is valuable. Because then what we can do is we can take this line here, connect it right up and in like so. Right, right. Take this one here. And I would love if they didn't have to cross over each other, right? So if this line were to go this way, they're going to have to because it has to get from here over to here. So we can just send this along here like so. You know why this is stopping like that? There's a station here because it's technically pretty far from here. It doesn't look it, but for pedestrians, that's a whole different area. Okay, I understand why we did what we did. That makes sense. That makes sense. Do I want to just try and do a nicer curve here, or is that fine? I think I'm fine with that. I think I'm fine with that. Let's connect from here. We want to basically get over to this section. So what we're going to do is we're going to do a little curve here. Do a little curve here. It's not going to be a fast section, that's for sure. And we'll do a curve here. We can go ahead and get rid of this little bit here. Okay. And I think we probably would want to connect at least from here over to here if it'll let us. Like so. So there's another transfer section there. Okay, I like this. I like this. Now we can go in and we can fix this back up. So we have two stops that can be here, both for the orange line. But then we can take this green line, stop the green line here. Right. Okay, hold the phone. Let's go and get that to stop there. So that's stopping at both spots here. Great. Then the green line is going to go from, I guess that's Alexandria, all the way over here into Cooper Bluff. And then we're going to reconnect it up here in Wilmar. So now we've actually expanded the underground infrastructure here, which is perfect. And we've separated those two from one another, which I think I like that a lot better. All right, let's then go ahead and also give this some shops. I think that's valuable. But now that I'm seeing what we've done here, I think we need to make just a little bit of a change. I wouldn't mind doing a little bit of something different. I could see us actually just getting rid of this little section. Let's do this. Let's go in here. Let's grab the marquee tool and let's remove all three of these buildings. Now that this has been upgraded into something new and exciting. We have some trees here that I think are my own trees. They are not actually a part of the subway. No, do not delete the building. We want to delete the trees. All right, it's given us this new space, which I'm happy with. Let's try to do a little pocket park right here. I don't think we do enough of them, and I think it's going to blend in very nicely. If we were to do one of these, right, and then tiny park, mini park, we could do two mini parks next to each other. Use better bulldozer. Delete the surfaces. Then, oh man, here we go. Drag this straight on out. Drag this straight on over. It looks like it's like a little plaza all along here. And now we've got this section here. I think I would like to place some buildings here, because I don't want them to look the same. I'm loving this building. What is this? USA Northeast High Density Offices. Just look at the scale of that. It's perfect. All right, let's actually... No, we're going to let it zone itself. Let's do High Density Northeast Offices all the way through here. Hit play. What do we get? They're all pretty small. Hold on. That just deleted the surfaces. They're a little too small for me. Let's see if we can find something here in this menu. All right, let's do offices. What am I working with? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 over. All right, if we're working with 5, let's do a little search. Width would be 5. We could do a 5 and a 4. Like, what if we had one that was a 5 by 5? Actually, doesn't go any higher than 6. We do have some 5 by 6s, but these are all low. I don't want a low. We do have some highs here. We have a round office. We also have this 5 here, 5 by 5. Do we have that somewhere else? Unclear. But I say, let's do this guy here. It doesn't look like it matches anything in the immediate. We've got a lot of these buildings here, but that's okay. All right. That will work there. And then behind it, we have a depth of 4. I don't know if there's going to be any high densities for this. There might not be. Do we have any mixed use southwest northeast 5 by 4 level 5? This could go right here. It's a little low. What if we did 4 by 4 office? 4 by 4 office level 5. This would be the height we'd be working with. Not bad. It's not bad. We could do that like right there. Or do we do, like a 3 by 4? Let's see. If we were to do a width of 3, with a back of 4, let's do a high, level 5, little small, that's okay. And then we do a width of 2, goes 4 back. Let's get a level 5. Oh, yeah. And let's just put something like that right in there. I think that looks a lot better. Whole lot better for that block. Okay. How's the school doing? Oh, my goodness. I don't know how to help these people with the schools. All right, so now we've got all this set up. I think we can go ahead. Let's turn on a parking fee for this, and let's hit play. Tons of people are going to have to move out, but we do have, well, no, all of these are offices, so we actually can't help any of them. I really like how square this building is. It's just a high-density office. It looks phenomenal. So now we've got a new subway system. That's leading up into here, which then leads us to buses, because as you can see, this particular bus route is just a mess. What is this bus route called? Buses. Bus routes. What's this one called? Blackwood Cypress. Get rid of what I just did. Okay, this is going straight on through here, all the way over to Cypress, and it's sharing some of the stops over here with Cypress train station. It does stop over here briefly in a section of the Narrow, not too deep in the Narrow though, which is fine. It comes back on over. I mean, it could connect our two train lines. Hear me out on this. We've got a train line that goes basically up and down, right? But then we also have another train line, I thought. Oh no, the Cypress line just goes from here all the way down to Central Station. Interesting. Interesting. Now the question is, do we get the Cypress line to somehow come all the way over here to Palmer Springs and bypass everything up north? Because you know what we could do. We have this train here. It comes to here. We already know we need to redevelop this area. What if there was another line? Ooh, I don't know if we'd be able to make that fit. Try to make it come up and over. I mean, I think the problem we're going to have is the grade change here is not insignificant. If we start here and go over to here, yeah, that's +9. By the time we get further out, I mean, that is an intense grade change. And parts, +12. That's not going to work. So I think we had to leave the trains kind of where they are, this being a fine location. And since that's how that's going to work, I think it makes sense to use this bus line as kind of our kind of speed through connector of these two areas. All right, let's figure out how to do this. If we're going to do some bus stops up here, I think this line's going to come up. And I think we want to stop right here, right in front of this subway station. We're going to do a stop right here. We'll do a stop right across the street. You know what? Now that I see that, let's actually do a stop right over here by this roundabout. So we're going to get rid of this guy. Don't need it. Then this bus is going to go up to here. It doesn't really need to stop again, but I maybe could see it stopping before it goes over. Or do we just say no and we come right over this way? We get through this roundabout. We have a stop here and we have a stop here. And then we come over here and we have one stop that's right in front of the train station. I think that's how I want to do that. All right, let's go close to these guys. Let's get rid of some of this because this is just a mess. Get rid of that. Now, bring this essentially all the way over to here. Connect this into here. Connect this into here. How are you turning around? Okay, I'll give you a little roundabout here in a moment. Come back over to here. We'll connect this to this stop. And we'll connect this to this stop here. Is that too close to the roundabout? I fear it may be. Scoot that guy down. Let's do it this way instead. Let's move this to here. Get rid of this one. This is better. This is better. All right, we don't need this. We don't need this. We don't need this. We now have 2 bus stops. That makes a whole lot more sense. Kind of right in the center of this section of Cooper Bluff. This subway line now actually just kind of dead ends there. Since we're sending in this new line this direction, I could see us connecting these two together. Could have like a little subway loop. Although, is that really even necessary? I mean, what's our ridership on these subways? Let's see. Subway transit. We've got 3 lines. Where is this line? Where even is this? This is this line here. This is our Amberwood line. 4 stops. 0 passengers. Although that's not true. There's 19 here. There's 4 here. 2 here. It is a very underused line. We'll even reduce the price. Maybe make it a little bit more attractive. Take it down to, I don't know, $4. And I guess we should give it a name. Let's name this the purple line. And I guess the L is now going to be going, well, I don't know. I don't know if the subway needs to extend too far out. I think we're going to be trying to use the trains as kind of that regional connection. I don't think the subway is the right way to go there. The L does have a ton of passengers, and we're only going to add more as we continue to expand Cooper Bluff. Yeah, I think, you know what? Let's go ahead for now. Let's just connect these 2 things up. I don't see why not. We don't really need to for like the game to work, but I could see this being just, you know, a backup way for people to get around. How do I get connected to that guy? Why can't I see that connection right? Oh, right there. There we go. Bam. It's not really necessary, but it does give us a little bit of a subway loop here. No one's going to use it, but for now it caps it off. We'll take it. Okay. We've got our subway. We've got our bus. I do think we need another set of buses kind of interspersed in here. However, until we build this out more, I'm not sure if it's necessary yet. So let's just leave it be for now. Did we have any tram connectivity over this way? I don't think so. We've got a tram line going right down the middle of the road here. Crosses over, goes over this direction, comes up to here. Does it? There's the tram. I can barely see it. It does go down this direction. Okay, we've got trams all the way along here. Should we take trams into from one heart of the downtown to the other heart? I'm not ready to do, I think, this tram network. Get rid of this. We don't really need it yet, and it's going to just replicate what we're already doing with the subway, which doesn't really make sense. So I think let's just get rid of all this. Turn anarchy back off and leave it alone. I think that's pretty good. All right. So we've got subway, we've got train, and we've got some light busing. Let's go ahead and get some just activity over here because we're going to need more going on if we're going to get any of this stuff to be used. I am tempted to say screw this little alleyway that I was making and instead, at least for some of this, let's turn this into a road. I just think a road might be nicer. If I grab this guy here, we're going to send this straight on out at the 90. Bam. Then from here, I think what we do is we base our 90 off of this connection here. Okay, let's turn off this guy. We'll make it work. We'll make it work. All right, so let's just go ahead and fill this whole section out. We're going to do not that. You know what's better actually than this? You know what's better? Let's just use the frickin' grid tool as intended. If I go from here 80 to 80 and we just connect it up that way, that's not going to work. All the tools in this game, and some of them just are ridiculous. Like, I don't want this to change the road that it's connecting into. Yeah, I just want you to do that. Just connect right up and in. That's perfect. All right, so there's that. That's great. Then what we can do is just use this to connect right into here. Perfect. We'll use this. We'll connect over to here. It's not going to be a perfect connection, but I think if we give it like maybe a little wiggle, that could be kind of fun. Okay. Actually, you know what? I say screw this road. Let's just have a nice large block here. I do think I actually want to move this early disaster warning system. I don't know if it necessarily makes sense right there. I could see us moving that. Maybe we move that like over here near Doris Park. Like it's a little bit out of the way. Not too much is around it in terms of height. But all around, pretty decent warning system. It's near the parks. That way there's like, all of this is pretty flat. So once it starts putting out an alert, it's not going to have to interfere with all these buildings to get that alert out. That's great. Now let's go ahead and just kind of start filling in some of the rest of this area here of Cooper Bluff. We do have a pretty drastic height change, but I'm okay with that. All of these are NA high density business. We have zero demand for business. Does that mean people are employed? 14.3. Let's go ahead and do offices through here. I think that's just going to be, it's more what people need. I say just fill this whole block here with office. It's going to bring height over a little bit. That's okay. We are going to need some more, not commercial, some more industrial soon, which I wasn't necessarily ready to think about building. But I guess we're going to have to do that at some point. Let's also grab some northeast commercial. We'll slide that right there. And then let's also get some low rent housing. Right here, bam, low rent. Right here, low rent. I kind of hate this little roundabout, so we're going to completely get rid of that little section and instead put a whole swath of low rent right here. We'll put a little bit more low rent right here for now. This is going to need some finessing and fine-tuning, and we'll get there. Yeah, we'll get there. But for now, that looks pretty decent. I do think over here, SBO Meadow for sure is going to be a bit on the lower density side. It could just be that we use, maybe we do just the, where's the southwest low density? Yeah, we could do these guys throughout here. Like, I kind of just want to be like, yeah, just fill in whatever spot is available. It's kind of crazy that we're using up all the demand. I don't know if that's happened yet. Like this is new. Do we do it along the highway road? I don't think that we do. I do think we need to give our highway section some sound barriers, at least here along this section. And likewise, we would need to have some here along this section too. We can't really do this little bit because it has a retaining wall, but I think I can get rid of those. Yes. Okay. So we're going to put sound barriers on both of those. Trains can't take sound barriers, if only. If only. Right here, we'll have sound barriers as well because I think we're going to have some larger houses over here. It just kind of needs to go all the way along this backside. Okay, and then we'll also do, that's not even highway, so we don't even have to worry about it. All right, so that all looks pretty good. We are going to need to do more industrial at some point. And I guess the question is, where does that industrial go? We have a huge industrial complex there. We have some industrial over here. Let's go ahead and let's look at wind. Let's just see. If I was wind, it really can't go anywhere over here because it's just going to send that smog over top of Easton, and it's just going to sit over top of Easton. So we probably need to think about doing more kind of up this direction and get it out of the way. Let me look at the overall pollution. Yeah, I mean, it just travels and it doesn't go anywhere. So really, it has to be north. So I think maybe what we do is we consider building out on this side of the train, although it's all hill. Maybe we create a separate area for this industrial. Okay. That's going to be a different part for sure. But I think I have an idea of what we can do with that. I need to keep a mental note of that. All right. Without demand, there's not much we can do with this. So let's go ahead and build out one of these new, not university. Is it university? Yeah, I want to get the modern technical university. Let's go ahead and unlock that here. Let's do technical university. Unlock. Let's also do geological research center. And we could think about doing the radio telescope. Not for now. Not for now. Let's start small. Start small. Let's start intentional. Let's think through this. We're kind of flat over here, not fully. I think what we're going to do is we're going to grab this height and we are going to flatten this section. Let's see how bad a retaining wall looks basically all along this edge. Kind of looks perfect, and I'm living, so that's great. Huge fan. We do need to smooth out this section, though, because she looks a little crazy. If I grab this and we just go... I did learn that when you have some clipping in the center of a intersection, it's because under the road, the grade is too intense. You got to smooth out kind of right in that center area, and that seems to solve that problem. I did end up messing up this little corner. Let's make this even smaller. Make that a perfect square. Yes. Okay. Now, we don't have any universities or any kind of, technical schools up this direction. So let's go ahead and grab this road here, send this road out straight to here, and let's get a sense of our size here. Modern Technical University, academic learning for the technically oriented, provides the 4th level of education and increases the efficiency of offices and industrial companies. That's what I need. Can be upgraded with an extension wing, student plaza, lecture hall, and technical academy building. Okay, we absolutely need this. It is $1 million. Size-wise, though, it actually fits perfect. If I can line it up nice and straight. There we go. That's pretty good. All right, so we're going to place this here. It's not connecting to the highway, which is great. Then let's go ahead, put a road straight across here, and even send it further a little bit at the... Maybe not. All right, let's upgrade this so it has trees and grass. And actually, let's do this. I know that some of you say I don't do enough trees and grass. So let's go ahead and just quickly fill in the north-south streets with trees and grass. I think the same can be true here in Cooper Bluff. Maybe this area is just a little bit nicer. Every road here has trees and grass, except for like the main avenue. That's an alleyway, so that doesn't need anything there, which is fine. I do also think I wouldn't mind doing trees. Can I do the trees in the middle of this? No, this is just on either of the sides. All right, let's do trees and grass along this edge. Actually, you know what? No. Trees and grass all along this section of Holly Street. We're just going to use whatever the base tree is. I'm not too pressed about changing that up. But that way, this is all nice and traffic free. And then if you want to park, you can come over here. It also means we need to add some more parking lots into this area. Now, looking at this, I do like this corner a lot. Overlooks a technical institute. Let's go ahead and add some things to this technical institute just to fill this out. So we can do an extension wing, which does another 4,500 students. I don't even think we have that many that we need. This extension wing also does another 4,500. This this is the Modern Student Plaza. It's been expanded so that the students have a larger dedicated space to sit and study outside. To provide ease of access for students, a pedestrian bridge is built to connect the upper levels of the existing buildings. But it doesn't have any like bonus. Indifferent on that. This just adds more student capacity. And then we also have the lecture hall. Again, adds more student capacity, but it looks really cool. So what we could think about doing is this. Let's put the lecture hall right here on the corner, right? There's the lecture hall. Maybe we do grab one of these. We don't snap to the side of this building, but instead we kind of place this building separately right there. So they're not fully connected. Now this university has, oh my gosh, there's capacity for 12,500 people. I think we have far more capacity than we need. We only have 4,000 people eligible, we have 5,000 eligible and 4,400 who are actually attending university. Still don't have nearly enough elementary. But I am seeing notifications for plenty of open jobs in the industry sector, which might mean that this efficiency is going to help. Well, actually, no, our unemployment got worse somehow. We're going to look away. Just not even going to ask questions on that. All right, now we got to decorate this because I do think this needs to look the part. And right now it does not look the part. Let's clear out all these trees. Let's go in. Let's put up sound barriers. It's not that they're going to complain just as much as it's just going to look nicer to have sound barriers there against the back of this university. Now, for now, I was going to add a big parking lot here, but I don't see us using this parking lot at the moment because we're not going to need these expansions. And I can't imagine anyone's just going to park there unless they're going to the university. So what we'll do instead, why don't we just build place a little prefabbed parking lot. We could even consider placing 2 of them. Although those ones, no. Because these guys, the way they work, I don't like that there's an exit in the back as well. That one's a little bit too large. That one's a little bit too large. That one goes the wrong direction. Too large. Too large. Too large. All right, so nothing fits. So we do, in fact, have to do a custom parking lot, which I did not want to do, but I guess we're doing it. What we could do is place parking in front of the university, or better yet, we just do a straight on line here at the 90, connect right up into this one, go just like that. Oh, I have trees on. I was like, what's going on? I don't see any parking. Although having the trees on there just makes it a large sidewalk, and that actually looks kind of nice. So there's our little parking connection there. Can I sneak in a tiny, tiny little pedestrian path right here? Good enough for me. All right, we have this here. I think we need to do some surfaces. I think all this, especially because it's like a university campus, this would all be mowed. I can probably just go right over top of that pathway. Keep this nice and easy. Bam. We got nice and mowed grass there. I think there would be trees somewhere along here for sure. I am considering we may want to key this wall as well. Or not key. We want a retaining wall this. Yes. We absolutely want a retaining wall that. Yeah, I think that's perfect. All right, so we have a retaining wall. Let's fix this surface because I don't like how it's trying to connect to that road. So I think what we have to do is come in here and just give it the tiniest little finagle. Like that. And actually, you know what? We could even just get rid of this. We didn't need all of that there. Then this can all get trees along the edge here to kind of tuck it away. Back here, I think for now, will be trees. We may consider doing something else there later, but for now, I think I'm happy with just trees. This, again, I think this could all be mowed, right? So from here to here, and maybe we even bring it over this direction. Come up here, connect to this highway. This can be the lawn section back here. Boom, boom, boom. We've got a beautiful lawn there. I do think we probably want some kind of roundabout on the end of this piece. Oh, wow. I can fit a larger one. Large, medium. Can't fit a large, can I? No, I can fit a medium, though. We'll do a medium. Gives you a little turnaround. It kind of makes sense with the front of this building. Then we've got this guy here, which is fantastic. I do want to have some type of maybe off-campus parking here. And I think it could be cool to do either a multi-level. We have not built one of these in a minute. This fits perfectly in these blocks. That was an absolute mistake. This is going right here. Yep, that's going right there to service this area here. I think behind it will also be an open air parking lot. If we have one that fits, you know, kind of perfectly. This fits pretty nicely. I could just see us, you know, right along this main road here. Let's go ahead and just pre-plan having another parking lot there. Gives us some better connectivity. We've got this main drag here. I think we also are going to want some more parking maybe in here. And the longer I'm looking at this road, I'm not a huge fan. I think this whole section is just a little bit too overdone. Let's just get rid of that road entirely and leave that an open block for now. We might change it. It might even become a park. But for the moment, we're going to let it be. Let's go ahead and just do a bit more zoning here with the southwest. I don't want to place them along the main road. Actually, you know what? That might be all the southwest that's going over there. Let's do UK terraced housing on these large blocks. They can't complain and say I don't give them large blocks because I absolutely do. And it's not my fault that they choose not to use them to the fullest. I'm really just going to go ahead and fill all this. I think that won't be filled. All of this can be filled. Some of this has the slightest bit of pollution, but if I remember from our last series, they won't build on the pollution if it's too bad. So we'll be okay there. And let's also go ahead and grab the northeast commercial buildings. We'll place a few right there. And maybe we'll place a small strip right there as well. Go back, place a little bit more of residential. So now Palmer Springs is going to get filled with all this residential. What we really need to think about over here is having some kind of elementary school and high school to service all of the people living in these three areas. We're not there yet, but it's coming. We're going to have to think about it shortly. We do have a sound barrier, and although it would not be ideal, I could see people living up against this area here. In these tiny little 2x2 homes, I could see it. So much so that they immediately zoned in. So they could see it too. I wonder if this is all just row houses, which with the current setup as is, we could do something along these lines. Let's go ahead and go just like that. See if it all fills in. Put one here. We'll put one here. Then we can come on the other side and just go bam. Kind of do the same thing here. So Birdsong Mills, no. This is going to be Modern Technical University, MTU. Then we'll just leave that name Modern Technical University. That is fine. Let's then figure out if we want to do, I think we should do some pathways. Maybe we turn all of this off. We do a continuous, was that complex or continuous? Continuous, yep. Do a little continuous, and what we do is we just grab right along to here and just kind of snake this through. We'll have a little connection right here. We'll also have another connection that maybe comes around this way. And you know that I love to just kind of go boop and make little triangles with them, although it did disconnect. There we go. Great. I don't necessarily think we need one in the back there. And now we just need to do a ton of tree work. So let me just, here we go. There we go. I think it looks perfect. MTU. It takes up a nice little area here and hugs that highway well. Oh, look, we've got all these people moving into Palmer Springs. That's perfect. We're finally going to start to see a lot of traffic on this highway. How's it holding up? Especially here where things are transferring. Looks pretty good. Looks pretty good. How's it doing over here where we had all those symbols before? Not a single symbol. Oh, I don't see any... What's this symbol? Crime scene. A crime has been committed. Is there not police coverage there? The police are right there. We have got a crime. Oh, man, that's wild. You apparently don't have pedestrian access, even though you're a house that has been here this whole time and never had issues with access before. Right this second. Do you like how I abandoned this area too? I started it, hated it, and moved right on. All right, so we have no traffic, which is great. MTU is built out. We've got some new skyrises facing this direction. Part of me wonders if this is low density instead of a park, and then the park is maybe right here, kind of separating as like a fire barrier between these high density buildings and then these smaller, row homes over here in No Name. Let's go ahead and add in just a few more buildings here. I think for this, we can do the same that we did over there, where we just let it zone in on its own. I don't mind if there's a little variation in how it zones out. And we could even, before anybody zones there, let's go over here, grab this and go boop. Sorry, guys. Nope. This little section is going to be a little commercial. If we have literally any demand for it. I don't know if we will. It seems impossible to get demand for this. Okay. That all looks pretty decent. All right. The last thing I think I want to do today is I think I want to get, we have this bridge here for our pedestrians, which is great. But I do wonder, because this has already started to go downhill, if it would benefit us to have just an extra little road connecting SBO Meadow over here. Because if we look from a road perspective, you could get on this highway and you pass right by and over. But if you're over here, you have to come all the way down here to then come up and go over and come back around. So I think what we could do is if we grab our little alleyway, let's just see. If I were to go like this, can we get this to go over top? Let's switch this over to the smallest fraction here. Gorgeous. So now we have another connection from here over into this area. That's great. Our highway's doing well. A bunch of people are moving over here into Palmer Springs. I think I am going to just use a little tree brush. Current population. We're just having people die left, right, and center. Death rate 812. Why are so many people leaving? Is it just because of the death wave that's causing this? Hold on. We've been at about 140,000 people for a while now. Although over the past 5 years, 10 years, we're really skyrocketing. Population decline. Citizens moved away. There's a ton that have moved away lately. Far more than the death rate. I guess they just can't find a job. Population growth is on the upswing, which is a great thing. All right, let's just give this a quick little tree brush, and then I think we might be calling it a day. I think for this episode, this kind of was everything I wanted to accomplish, was just getting some of this built out a little bit here, getting ourselves a university, adding in a bunch more housing, although we have still not gotten that unemployment rate to, frankly, a reasonable level. I mean, a 15% unemployment rate is just, it's astronomical. So I probably should figure out what to do there. And it's all going to come down to business. Although I don't think business really provides a ton of housing options. So it's fine to build a bunch of it, but like it's not going to give us what we need. So I don't know exactly what to do. We're going to have to figure that out. Or not business, industry. All right, let's just give some trees here. So, I mean, I guess the problem we're going to have is that we really only have certain places that our industry can be built. If we zoom out here, our industry really needs to go kind of above the city and fan out this way or over here. So we could come up with a new kind of industrial area right along here. Or we could think about maybe even moving the farms and building some more industrial right here. Look at all the people dying. So many open jobs, so few workers. What gives? What do you mean, so many open jobs, so few workers? Our unemployment rate's at 14.8. We got 63,000 jobs, 54,000 employed. What does give? Why? How do we have so many people unemployed, but we have so many open jobs? All right, guys, I think that's where we're going to end this part here. A quick shout out to my channel members. Thanks so much for your support. I really appreciate it. If you're interested in becoming a channel member, click the link in the description below to unlock custom emojis, loyalty badges, early access to videos, save game files, members-only content, merchandise discounts, and more. And until next time, leave your questions, comments, and feedback down below, and I will see you guys in the next one.